Okay, so you're all very welcome to this chat. I'm here with Karen Egan, who is a somatic sex educator and embodied consent coach. Myself and Karen met last year in Berlin at the Wheel of Consent workshop. And we're really excited to be offering a workshop in person in Dublin on September 7th. So, yeah, Karen, you're very welcome. It's so lovely to see you.
Thank you, Moira. It's very happy to see you too. And yeah, I'm just recalling when we first met over the coffee table in Berlin and how the seeds started planting for this workshop actually
Mm.
there throughout that week. Yeah.
Yeah, it was such an intense few days, Karen. And I do remember us doing a lot of processing together. And we were actually staying in like this loft kind of bedroom,
Mm.
kind of dormitory style. And just like it felt like just chit chatting all the time and kind of giggling. And then just maybe sitting up and sharing like other kind of insights that we were having. And of course, it's with a particular lens as well on with an Irish context as well. I think both of us felt that this work is really, really important here in Ireland. We're a nation of chronic people pleasers, I would say. And
Mm.
yeah, so really excited to be sharing some practices and some wisdom on embodied consent and how that can help people. So, Karen, would you like to share just a little bit for people maybe who haven't heard about the Wheel of Consent? Would you
Mm.
like to share a little bit about what that is?
Yeah. So yeah, the Wheel of Consent was created by this person, Betty Martin, over in America. And she has a great saying that I just want to quote because it really captures it beautifully. So she says, it's exploring dynamics of giving touch and having clear agreements. And my kind of understanding of that is that it's an ongoing dynamic process of navigating what you want in the moment. And it's dependent on the environment, on circumstance, and the person, the people. So it's not a fixed anything. It's not a fixed boundary or a barrier. So it's this continual like back and forth negotiation of agreements. So yeah, Dr. Martin, she was originally a chiropractor and she would have, yeah, I think she would have worked a lot with people around touch. And yeah, you were telling me something recently about her experience with people not being able to fully ask for what they wanted. Do you want to
Yeah,
speak?
exactly. So part of how she developed it was that people, she found when she was working with people that they actually didn't know how to ask for the touch that they wanted.
Mm.
A lot of times they also didn't know what type of touch they wanted either. And this was working more in the area of like kind of intimacy when she was working in this area. And then also the other factor was that if they were experiencing a touch that they didn't necessarily like or enjoy, they had difficulty saying no or stop. And then she found that, okay, we just need like a kind of a framework around this to really help people to understand more about what consent is.
Mm.
And I think one of the things about consent is it seems very serious. It can seem very restrictive or limiting when it comes to passion or romance or intimacy. But I think part of what we're doing is really just to show that like consent can really be something very sexy as well. It's a very evolved way of being, and you can have much deeper relationships and authentic
Mm.
connections with people.
Mm. Yeah, and I think it's the sexiness, you know, when there's safety with agreements, when there's a kind of a clear outline of what you're willing to be with in relationship with whoever, there's a sense of relaxation. And when you're relaxed, you feel more sexy and more like open to pleasure. This wheel of consent can be also expanded into every single relationship with colleagues, with our boss, our neighbor, our friends, with family,
Mm.
that you know that it's not just around intimacy. And
Yeah.
there's a playfulness within the framework as well. Yeah, that was it. That was it. The, you know, this, you know, there's a curiosity and exploration with it because it's experiential. It's it's really developing this sense of regulation with the body and also noticing what it is you're feeling and then communicating, like trusting and valuing what you're feeling. So it's coming from the body up rather than the strategic mind, which will often try to tell us, convince us, and override our bodily signals or body wisdom to say
Mm,
yes when we mean no because we want them to like us, or you know, all those kind of
mhm.
incredible clever strategies that a brilliant mind can go to.
And it's just such, I mean, there's so much wisdom in the body. And I think when we can get really in touch with that as well, a lot changes in our world actually, and how we're able to kind of communicate that as well. And I think one thing that's quite interesting as well around consent is that sometimes we see it as something quite binary. It's either yes or no, but there's a like a very big scale in that, you know. So it could be a very enthusiastic yes. It could be maybe a neutral yes. It could be a maybe, I need more information.
Mm.
It could be a maybe, I need more time to think about it. It could be
Yeah.
a yes, but with these limits, you know,
Mhm.
and it could be a no, but I'm open to talking about it again, or it can be an absolute no as well, you know. So I think there's like a kind of a big scale there to kind of play around with. And a lot of times we're not comfortable or we haven't had the experience of how to express those kind of different
Mm.
levels of consent or agreement or that. So I think that's something that's kind of quite interesting as well. And I know that you know, with the workshop that we're offering, that's something that we're really going to be helping people to do is to develop language and the exploration to kind of play with these kind of concepts as well.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm.
and the confidence to express these things because these are aspects of relating and communicating that we did not learn in school,
Mhm.
along
Mhm.
with most of our sex education in school. So it's developing these micro skills and confidence and to like express and you know value our self-worth and what we actually want authentically and to um yeah cultivate yeah this relational piece. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. I think one of the big kind of breakthroughs that I got through doing the wheel of consent in terms of relating is this kind of playing with a yes or a no. And
Mm.
you know, when somebody says no, that actually their yes is even more valuable. You know, that
Mm.
you can really trust when they say yes, you know, um, and to be mature enough and evolved enough that if somebody says no, that you don't take it as a rejection, um, or to take it kind of personally, you know, and not
Mm.
needing to ask too much. It's just okay, right? You know, it's a no right now. So I found that so helpful.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's really stepping up into the adult way, you know, of taking care of your own needs and be able to say no and not die, and to hear a no and not die. Because again, yeah, there's this whole piece of unconscious beliefs of rejection or hurting another, which gets unpacked. You know, you really start to see your unconscious ways and unconscious beliefs that are maybe just not ours from the beginning, or they're maybe outdated. But yeah, no, it's it reveals a lot and
Mhm.
helps us with the navigating and practicing. It's like I love these workshops because they're so slow and trauma informed and just in a way of like field work. You know, it's like, okay,
Mm.
it's like a laboratory. Okay, let's practice these things in this container. Okay, you know, in a really slow way of linking in with the body, you know. So it's yeah, it's a great experience.
Mm. Great. And I think one of the big parts of this work as well, this body of work, is around our needs and desires, you know.
Mm.
And I think culturally, I think a lot of people are grow up um, just ignoring that or not being taught to pay attention to that, you know. And I've just found that so useful, being aware of what my actual needs are. And again, that comes from going so deep within the body. And I know, you know, many people who come to this work find that just so helpful as well.
Yeah, it's a crucial way of being able to live a joyful, easeful life. I was the very same when I came across the wheel of consent several years ago. It was like, what? I can say no? Like what? And it was the edgiest thing. And then it was like, well, and if you can say no, then what do you want? What are you a yes to?
Mm.
And sure, that just terrified the life out of me because I hadn't actually figured out, I'd learned to hear what other people told me, family or core belief or media or peers, So like this in-depth work of actually what do I want and what is my priority? What are my needs? And how do I prioritize that? So yeah, it's really pioneering kind of edgy work. I feel that
Mhm.
it's especially here in Ireland, it's yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. We have our workshop, which is happening on September 7th. It is the art of embodied consent, exploring needs and intimacy to elevate your self-worth. And we're going to be covering a lot of things. And so just to check in about who this workshop is for. So basically, it's going to be for people pleasers. Maybe if you're someone who's constantly doing for others, all of the time, not necessarily checking in with your own needs. There may even be some resentment that's building up along that, up around that. It could be for somebody who's unsure about what you want. So, for example, how to ask for it, how to even get into connection with your body and what your inner needs and desires are. You might be somebody who feels unworthy or even find it hard to kind of relax into receiving from others if you're constantly kind of giving. Um, yeah, so Karen, who else is it for?
Hmm. Yeah, I think you've captured a lot there. It's yeah, for people who maybe just want to develop confidence in asking for what they want. And yeah, it's wanting to improve communication around intimacy. It's all genders, any sexual orientation, partnered, single people, friends, neurodivergent, all learning styles. This will be, yeah, really applicable for everybody.
Mhm,
And yeah, it's an experimental workshop, as we said. So it's like coming into the body to really sit into what is the body trusting and noticing, and then what are the sensations of unauthentic yes and authentic no. And it's embodied practices. It's a fully clothed workshop. We're going to be practicing relational communication skills, all those micro skills that we mentioned, the about asking for what you want. And yeah, so we're going to be, we're both trauma informed trainers, and it's going to be going slow, moving with the body, which is nervous system regulated.
mhm.
So yeah, it's just going to be a really beautiful exploration. Yeah.
Great. So we're really happy to invite you to it. You can find the link below on this and hope to see you there. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to get in touch. Okay. Thanks so much, Karen, for joining me
Mm,
today.
so
And
welcome.
good. And we see you